Are you trying to figure out if you should send your dog to a board and train? Maybe you're someone who already has, and it didn't quite work out the way you were anticipating. Well, I want to give you a little bit of information that will help you to not only decide whether or not you needed a board and train, but maybe to even take the work that was done in your boarding train a bit further with some things that you can change at home. So anytime that I'm assessing a new training client, I want to know, first off, how severe is the problem with the owner? And importantly, does that issue go away when the dog is in my care? If the issue with the dog goes away when the dog is in my care, it means it's a relationship-based problem. So anytime there's a relationship-based problem, everybody wants to know what to do, and they don't focus as much on how to be. They need to learn how to live a new lifestyle with their dog that makes their dog feel advocated for, that lets their dog have some boundaries, that shows their dog the appropriate times to be excited and be chill, and also shows them what calm, consistent energy is like in a household. And so most people that are not trainers do not live the type of lifestyle that their dogs need because they're not forced to be committed. Most people will only do board and train and do more training when things are already pretty bad. Some people are smart about it and they send their dog off for a board and train right when they get the dog because they think that they're going to establish some good habits for their dog. However, they're only going to use that board and train to teach the dog new skills. It's not going to do anything to affect your relationship with your dog. So what do I mean by that? When we teach our dog sit, come, stay, heel, all that fun stuff, we're practicing what's called physical management. We're teaching the dog a predictable pattern that associates a certain type of movement with a certain command or signal. And so if I'm sending my puppy off to a trainer and they're teaching him sit, come, and stay, the idea is that we hope that by giving your dog some simple things to do that they're going to learn how to be. Most of the time this is not true. Plenty of dogs can sit and lay down and their state of mind will not change at all. That's why you see a lot of people with dogs with behavioral problems who struggle because their dogs are great at obedience, but they don't know how to be. They just know what to do. And so we get stuck asking our dogs to sit when they hit every corner instead of just creating a relationship where we go, why would my dog not be with me when they're on the leash? If my dog is crossing the street in front of me, they're not with me mentally and emotionally. So how is sit or down going to change that? It might change it if it's teaching your dog a cue to check in with you, but that should be something that's more ingrained. You shouldn't have to ask your dog to check in with you. If you're relevant to your dog, then your dog's going to pay attention to you. So I understand why people start with basic obedience for their dogs because it's kind of like training wheels. Let's go through the motions until you figure out what's really expected from you. What do I think is more beneficial? Socializing your dog and having tons of consequence therapy, which is your dog does something and then there's a consequence to that. Most dogs instinctually understand I'm only going to do things that are going to not put myself in danger. Some dogs will continue to put themselves in danger if they feel like that's the only option. Here's an example. So my dog, it becomes reactive when they see other dogs because the owner is not choosing compatible dogs for their dog to meet. It's not thinking about their dog's personality and what's going to help them grow and learn. They might have had some bad experiences paired with that where really intense things happen, really big imprints. Imprints is like something that really impacts you. It's like as a human, something that really changes your life. Those moments, those do or die moments that really shape you as a human. Well, your dog has those same things, right? So a lot of times our dogs, we want them to know what to do, but we don't teach them how to be, and we BS around and we shortcut with all these different tips and tricks and techniques and band-aids and physical management and all that stuff because changing the relationship is harder. As Cesar Millan says, it's simple but not easy. Having a balanced relationship with your dog means that your dog understands appropriately how to behave in many different situations. Not what to do, how to be. When guests come over, does your dog know how to be? Does your dog know that it should be respecting people's space? It shouldn't be jumping on people, all that fun stuff? Or does your dog know that it should go sit and go to its place? While that could be helpful, sitting and being on the place it could still be excited in its mind about the humans that are coming in the door. So what am I really changing there? So when I talk about board and train, if you have a dog who is with you and it acts one way, and then with other people it acts a different way, that's 100% a relationship issue. And it doesn't matter how much you pay for that board and train, how long they keep them, it's not going to change your relationship unless you take the baton and you carry it on when it's your turn. Most dogs, when they come home from board and train, will actually get worse right when they get back, because they just went from a super structured environment to total free-for-all, or even worse, back to their old patterns and habits. Because when a dog is in their own home, that's the place where they're going to feel the most confident. That's where they're going to have the biggest reactions and feelings, because that's their home territory. Imagine how you feel in your home. You're going to act the most authentically, right? So if someone is telling you that because of your bad relationship with your dog, they should send their dog to you and they're gonna fix them, or they're gonna create some imprints, that's total BS. Your dog needs to make those imprints with you. It doesn't matter how skilled your trainer is. If the dog goes home and is not practicing the same things that were being practiced with the trainer, then you just blew $5,000 for no reason. Essentially, other than now you have reliance on the trainer. Everybody's always like, oh, but my dog is so good with the trainer. Yeah, that's because your trainer is consistent. Like, they've taken the time, they put in the time and the energy to be very clear to set the dog up for success. They're looking at all the little things that lead to the bigger picture. They're looking at, when your dog's staying in their home, how is the dog choosing to relax? Are they choosing to relax? What does that look like? What is their behavior like in the home versus outside of the home? How are they around other dogs? How are they around their possessions? How are they about affection? Like, when dogs come over to me and I'm assessing them, I'm giving zero affection, because I want to set the tone for my relationship right away. I do the same thing on my walks. Like, I don't need to represent affection. When your dog respects me, they will like me. But just because your dog likes me doesn't mean they're going to respect me. It's like when your kids go to school and there's that super fun teacher. They like that teacher, but when things go down, they might not listen to that teacher. However, they have that one really stern teacher who, when they say what they mean and they mean what they say, your kid gets it and they don't mess around in that classroom. And it's kind of finding a balance in between those two extremes. Like, you can be fun and you can be firm. There's a time and place for both. And you being able to recognize that is going to do a lot for your dog. So say you're someone who has done board and train and the dog came back, it didn't work. You know what I mean? Maybe you've done multiple board and trains. Maybe you've worked with multiple trainers. Well, how consistent have you really been with everything that trainer has asked you to do? Just one trainer. And mind you, not everyone has great info. I'm going to tell you right now, trainers are a dime a dozen, and every single one thinks they're right, and every single one is going to talk about what they're doing like it's truth, like it's fact, like it's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, which is so not fair to the dog, because just because something works for one dog doesn't mean it works for every dog. Like, we're in a place now where dogs are so overbred, and we get some dogs from good breeders, we get some dogs from bad breeders, we get some dogs from backyard breeders. There's like no consistency. And like, even in a scientific experiment, you have to factor in all those variables, like if you're going to get a good result and make a hypothesis. And like, to have these cookie cutter programs that are like, cool, the dog comes in and we do this, 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 and this is all the things they're going to learn. Well, what does that have to do with the dog that you have right now and their unique individual needs? I find that so many people benefit so much more from private in-home training than a board and train. Quit trying to fix your dog and fix your relationship. Fix yourself. You would be so much better off going and booking 10 therapy sessions than booking a month of board and train, because you might actually figure out why you're messing up your dog. We ask our dogs to carry so much stuff, and it's not fair to them. And then we want to go to a trainer who either teaches us to bribe them with food or teaches us to way overcorrect with all these powerful tools, and the dog doesn't learn anything. Like, I see so many people that are like, the dog is off-leash e-collar trained. Well, the dog is not off-leash trained then. They're just e-collar trained. If you can't do it without the e-collar, then what's the point? It's like when someone throws the e-collar on your dog. When does the e-collar come off? Why are they using it? Did they learn anything from it? Or are you just reliant on another thing that you have to carry in charge now? It's just like with the treats. If you have to bribe your dog every time, then they have not learned. They have just learned that you're the food provider, which is fine. But like, if you're looking to solve serious behavioral problems, food's probably not going to make that happen. I'll just tell you right now. It's going to be about your energy and your patterns with your dogs and the things that you are unknowingly supporting with them. Whew. freaking gets me fired up, because so many people sell board and trains and they don't take the time to consider what the owner actually needs, what the dog actually needs, and if their program even fits that. Like, so many people choose to work with us because when we go and evaluate, you don't automatically get to book with me. I might not even do private training with you if I don't think we're the right match for you, because I'm very relationship based, and if you're not 100% committed, then I'm not going to put in the time and energy with you. I have all the information in the world, but if you're not going to apply it correctly and you're going to waste my time, then why would I confuse you and confuse your dog trying to teach you some new things? People need to start focusing more on fixing themselves and thinking about their own personal energy and why that might be causing some issues with their dogs, and stop asking their dog to carry all their crap for them. Like, if your home is chaotic and then your dog is chaotic, guess what? You created that reality. That is 100% connected to you. That is why when your dog comes to my house and there's no chaos, it's just very simple and easy. Dogs come over all the time and people will be like, oh, what's my dog doing? I'm like, your dog is sleeping, because they are so relaxed to not have to carry all the responsibilities that they have put on them at home, whether that's lack of structure, lack of direction, lack of connection. Maybe your dog's just bored and frustrated. Maybe they're just lonely because you got a dog because it feels good for you to come home at the end of the day and be worshipped by this animal that loves you, but you're not giving them anything in return other than a bunch of unearned affection, which is like, some dogs are more affectionate than others, but that also leads into another very serious topic, which is like the affection addiction. People and dogs both have it, and I've seen it so many times. It's more so hard on the human side. The dogs live in the present moment. They will let go of that so quickly if you just create this new expectation. But it's humans. We just are like so comforted by dogs, and we love the way that they make us feel, but we don't take the time to consider how we're making them feel. Like, we all have that one friend who's like super needy and always has something wrong going on, and like then they constantly need your support, and then when you need theirs, they're MIA. That's what you do to your dogs. Like, you ask them to carry so much stuff for you, and then you want to send them to the trainer to fix it. You want to like make all these changes to like physically manage them and like plan your whole life around them, instead of just being a little bit thoughtful about what type of human am I to follow. If we could all just focus a little bit more on that, then I feel like our dogs would be so much better. Stop trying to fix your dog and start asking, why might my dog be confused? Why might my dog be frustrated? It's probably because of things I'm practicing in my life, unknowingly with my dog, unknowingly with other people. So next time, if you're going to book a board and train, do your research. Find out what the dog is like with you versus the trainer. If your dog is not good with other dogs and you send it to a trainer, find out if they're going to put it with other dogs. You wouldn't believe how many people will do board and train and then not even socialize the dog because they're scared, or they don't want to use muzzles, or they feel weird about it. Well, that they shouldn't be taking that dog. Like, board and trains are hard work and easy money. I'm going to say that again. Board and train, hard work, easy money. People like selling board and trains because then they don't have to go and drive and do the work in building your relationship with your dog. They just want to show your dog what to do. That's every trainer's comfort zone, working with the dog. We all love that. That's why we got into this. But find a trainer who's really passionate about helping you change and helping you put in the work. Those are going to be the ones that get you the best results and are going to be the most bang for your buck.